Okay,
Yes,
right?
ma'am took.
Okay, so today again we'll start with the task communication technique, right? So what is the task communication? That is, on the operating system, there will not be a single process will be executing. There will be n number of processes will be executing. So what are the different methods of how the process, sometimes some of the processes have to communicate with other process also. So what are the mechanism, what is how they communicate with each other? So that is what the techniques are there. So that we will discuss here, right? So that is called as inter-process communication, right? So inter-process communication is a method which the two process, sometimes they want to share the resources, right? So some of the parameters they have to share. So what are the methods they will be following? So on this, there will be a one question. What are the different IPC mechanisms that are adopted by the OS kernel? So first one, you will be seeing the shared memory. In that you have a global variables, pipes, and the memory mapped objects. The second method is a message passing. You have a message queues in that, mailbox, mail slot, and signals. And the third one is the remote procedure calls, right? So first we will see what is the shared memory. So this is one of the method where the two process want to communicate with each other. So just see here in the block diagram, there are two processes are there, they want to communicate. So how they are communicating, right? So whatever the data they want to share, that will be kept in the memory. Here, just think that whatever the data they are sharing, they are having only the privilege of reading. They cannot modify anything on that. So that is what is a shared memory concept. They are sharing the two processes, they are communicating through with each other with the help of the shared memory concept. So example here it is given. So in the notice board in the college, right? So the college will be publishing the information to the students. You can only view it. You cannot modify anything in that, right? So here it is only a one-way channel. That means only you can read the data. So this is how both the processes need the same data. How they are communicating is with the help of the shared memory area concept. So this is one of the method that is used. And the second one is you have a pipes, right? So you must have learned in Unix operating system a pipe call, right? In that, what happens? The pipe connects the output of one thing to the next input, right? So here, what happens? The pipe is also one concept where the two processes can share the data. So basically, you can see it is follows the client server architecture. That means what is that? Suppose the client want to communicate with the server. What happens? So first the client has to connect to the server. Then only the client can access the data. In the same way, there are system calls are there on in the OS. With the help of the pipes, the two process, what happens with the help of the pipe system call, they can communicate. So in that you are having two types. The first one is the anonymous pipes and the named pipes. So what is this anonymous pipes? They are there for the unidirectional. Only one way data transfer can happen. And here in the named pipes, you can have a both one way or the bidirectional. Basically, these pipes usually tells in the operating system, they are nothing but the system calls, right? So there are certain system calls are there. With the help of that, the processes will be communicating with each other. So that it is in detail, it is not there for you people. Only you understand what is a pipe. Pipe is nothing but the connecting between the two process. So where they can share the data, it is nothing but a system call. With the help of that, they share the data, right? Then this I'll come back to the later. That is the shared memory or the memory mapped object. Okay. So we'll go to the next one here. The next one is the message passing. So two process, if they want to share the data, even with the help of the message passing also can be shared. So in that you are having the three different techniques are there. That is, one is called the message queue, right? So here there are two processes are there. So they want to communicate. So what happens? How they will do? They will send the message into the first in first out. Okay, so here in the message queue, the two processes, if they want to communicate, the messages are dumped in the queue based on the first in first out. Whichever comes the first, that will be given as the first priority here, and that message will be passed to the other process. right? So here, how they are communicating with the help of the two, again there are system calls are there. If the process 1 wants to send the data or send the message to the process 2, there is a call called as a send, right? And if the process 2 want to receive the data from the process 1, there is a system call called as receive. So with the help of these two system calls, they are sharing the data, right? But how they are sharing is, again, there will be a n number of messages will be there, but they are dumped in the message queue. So whichever comes the first, that message will be passed between the two process. Again, they are following the methods. They are again OS kernel dependent, right? So next you have the message passing, that is called the mailbox. So here you can see the message passing or the mailbox. Here it is a one-way communication. That means this process 1 wants to talk to the, there are three processes are there. So what happens? So first what it will do, it will send the message to the mailbox, and this message is passed to all the other processes. That is called the mailbox, right? So it is a one process will create a mailbox. That means it is a, you can say that it is a one-way communicate. It is nothing but a broadcasting, right? So the one process, it wants to communicate with the n number of the process. So first it will try to put it in the mailbox, and the other process, they have to subscribe to this mailbox. Then only they will receive the message, right? So there are three, again, one more is there, that is message passing. You have a signals. So what is a signal? Basically, you can think of it as a interrupts, right? Whenever the two process want to communicate, they can communicate with the help of the signals. Again, there are n number of signal system calls are there, that you will be learning in Unix operating system, right? So here on the OS, there are system calls. With the help of the signals also, the two processes can communicate. So here it is, one thing you have to remember, they are asynchronous. That means it can, the process can send the message to the another process at any time. So it is not scheduled in advance. So we can say that it is asynchronous in nature, right? And here you are not supposed to do any queuing of the messages, but only the thing is how they communicate. Signal is nothing but a interrupt. You know what is a interrupt? Suppose if the suppose in the process, suppose the process want to read the data from the input, CPU is reading the data from the IO devices. So immediately interrupt happens. So the signal may happen at any time. So with the help of the signals also, what happens? The two processes can communicate, but only for each signal there will be a interrupt service routine will be there. According to that, the signal will process, right? So these are the different techniques are there. So just go through this, and the remaining thing we'll discuss in the next class. Okay.